done their homework.
They're not messing around, are they? Straight into the ban, straight into these first 3 picks as well. Guessing we're going to see things slow down that little bit now. And what are they going to complement Twisted Fate?
That's got to be Orianna to go with Rengar, surely you would assume. I mean, that's the kind of thing, gets the stealth, gets the ball in him, gets straight in and get the shockwave. It's a great combination, and Jax would not surprise me. So Jax in that top lane would be a scary thing. This also means that it could be Rengar in the top lane, which is something we saw didn't really work out too well when we were in Singapore.
Yeah, it didn't at all, and I mean that Rengar was matched with the Orianna, and it's a great combination. You know, the stealth straight in there into the middle, shockwave comes out. But again, it's one of those combos that if you mess it up, you mess up a lot in terms of the team fight. So they've got to be spot on with that one. There's Lulu locked in as well for Azubu.
Lustboy on Lulu is a scary, scary thing. There were so many times that, you know, even Skara mentioned, like in his game, just cancelled out ultis, cancelled out all sorts. I expect to see that ultimate going on to Jax as Jax Sleep Strikes in there. Yeah, then picks are not going to happen for Team Dynamic. I'm pretty sure that's a full-on troll. They just went in to finally sort themselves out. Expect to go... Whoa, twitching game 1 from Team Dynamic. This is more like it. So we're going to get Nunu Twitch combo. That is surprising. I guess the last pick might be Orianna. I'm not too sure. It could be Morgana. I mean, it's Takashi X. He generally just plays that. But the final picks for Azubu Blaze are going to come out here. And this is going to be something they're not used to. I mean, when was the last time you saw Twitch in a tournament?
Well, the thing is, there's been a lot of talk about Twitch throughout these last few days. I know CLG were talking about it yesterday, Crepo. So to see it in game number 1 is always fantastic. Always like me a bit of Twitch, except obviously if I'm playing against him, then he can just go to hell. And on the other side here, looking like Lee Sin and Corki going to be locked in for Blaze.
That amazes me. How did Lee Sin creep all the way through to one of the last picks? He's generally first picked it in there. So that is going to be Helios on Lee Sin, and that's a scary thing. And Captain Jack Sparrow, of course, on Corki. Pretty much famous for being on grades, but Corki is certainly one of the top champions right now, certainly in that bottom lane ADs. And Karthus, the final pick. So there are your teams very much locked in, and I'm really interested by this Team Dynamic pick. Azubu Blaze, sorry, they've got pretty much their strongest team right there, I think. They got everything they wanted. And it's going to be very hard. Helios going to be coming out of that jungle. You're going to see Ambition joining them down there. Could he be a three-man gank up the top or a 4-man gank down the bottom? It's going to be very hard for Team Dynamic to try to react to this one. Zion Spartan looks like he's going to be settling on Rengar on the top lane. Just wait to see whether they're going to make any last-second switches, Joe.
Yeah, and we saw a Twisted Fate, or actually quite a few Twisted Fate plays over in Singapore, which, you know, one of the games, and I always say this about Twisted Fate, is yes, if you get those ganks off, always brilliant. But one thing that we did saw is Twisted Fate always picking up the kills and, you know, not helping to push that top lane and the AD carry to you know, into the next level and gifting them some kills over. And at the end, it was just a big fat Twisted Fate, and no one else had any kills, and they end up losing that game.
So here you can see on your screens, it is going to be Azubu Blaze on the left-hand side in their perfect outfits. I love them suits. I love the suits the Koreans wear. Versus Team Dynamic. Guys, you need to get fashionable, get those tops on. You can see there's a couple of them. There's new members. They need some new tops.
I think Snoopy's would go very well with a kilt as well, if they had that kind of uniform. So that would be a good thing for them. So we've got we're a little bit early on this morning, Demon. The crowd's not huge. I guess everyone's still in bed. So
I would be if I could.
Well, who wouldn't be?
Yeah.
I think we can get a bit of noise out of this lot, maybe.
Oh wow, they're just not really up for it.
It's just like, you know.
I mean, a lot of them are players to start with. Yeah, go Travis. Yeah, yeah. That was just Travis and Freak and Tom.
Well, at least they're up and you know, ready to go for this one. So we're into the loading screen. We're going to kick this one off. Demon, you've gone with Azubu Blaze, and naturally then I have to go for the other side, Team Dynamic. I said, first game of the day. They've flown out from Korea. They seem to have jet lag yesterday. They seem to be a little bit sleepy, to say the least. So this is the chance, in my opinion, for Team Dynamic to get off to that good start.
Hopefully so. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. If you've just tuned in, IPL5 is underway, and Azubu Blaze starting as the blue team. And you can see Team Dynamic as the red team once Zion Spartan's computer decides to load. Once he finally gets in. Oh no, it's Lustboy we're waiting on. Okay. And we're going to go straight to a pause because I can see it on their screens. Would you believe it?
First game of the day, guys. You always got to have a good pause to start things off.
Standard stuff, really. Just, I'm here, so there's going to be pauses. I've already had Wicked telling me they're going to make sure they can make it at least a 70-minute game when I cast their game.
Can't wait for that
COG
one.
EU preparing themselves, yeah. Just going to hope it's Jap, not you, with that one. So, if you are just tuning in, we are about to resume, and there you go. You can see on your screens behind us, there they are. There's the teams in the corners. Standard layout everybody expects to see. And Azubu Blaze coming into this one. Last time they visited North America, they took away a title and a nice chunk of change. Can they do the same here? And I think we just heard Jap putting them up there in one of the top 3, didn't they? So quite a few people certainly have them up there. I guess you got to have Taipei Assassins, Moscow 5. These are the sort of teams. So the question is, how will Azubu live up to that title? They're going to have to start strong, because it's going to be interesting to see how Don't Mash Me handles Twitch down in that bottom lane against Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, and one of the other interesting things, obviously, about this team is that top lane Flame coming in there. Obviously, we had Reaper before. We had the standing of Shy, who's such a phenomenal player. We saw him, obviously, at the Season 2 Championships with their brother team, sister team, whatever you want to call it, Azubu Frost. Did brilliantly in Dallas. Can Flame now fill those shoes? As you said, they're pretty big shoes to fill.
They are pretty big shoes to fill, and he's taken Jack, so it's a similar type of champion that Shy used to run, so Azubu Blaze will be completely happy with the team setup they've got. I mean, Lustboy on Lulu alongside Captain Jack is such a strong combination. We saw it throughout Season 2, the fact that, and there you go, you can see the percentages actually. I should mention that was just on your screen there. The percentages in front of us is a vote that you guys can do on the website, IPL website, ign.com/IPL. There's an app on there, and you guys can vote on who you think is the MVP of the match, who you think is going to win the match. There's all sorts of things, and you can see the screens in front of you. You guys here in the crowd can see them anyway. The percentage is shifting as people vote. But as I should mention, that the fact that, Season 2, we saw pretty peripheral. Wow, you can see 75% versus Team Dynamic 25%. That's a pretty strong swing.
It's like 3/4.
It's almost like it's 3/4, Joe. Thanks for that. But yeah, I mean, the AD carries, all of the Asian AD carries did so well throughout Season 2. They were always on top of their game. We saw it with Prey from Nanjing Sword, who's not here. Probably the top Korean AD carry, I would say. Captain Jack, of course, strong one. Who can forget down the bottom lane? BB is over on the left-hand side there, pretty much, obviously world champion, so that kind of said, yeah, I'm pretty good. But yeah, very much the strongest AD carries. Really surprised a lot of people. Obviously, before that, we'd seen so much of the North American, the European AD carries singing their praises, and then the Asian guys came along and just, wow, swept the floor with them. So how is Don't Mash Me on Twitch going to match one of the best AD carries in the world?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I think it's like an all-in move at this point with this Twitch, and hopefully from Azubu Blaze's point of view, they've got this, they knew that this was coming at some point in the tournament, maybe not expecting it in game number 1 with Dynamic taking them on. But I think from Dynamic's point of view, it's like, well, let's go all out in this game. We've got literally nothing to lose. We are the underdogs on paper. Azubu Blaze, arguably the favorite of this group. I mean, it is a pretty stacked group, this with Fnatic, who obviously last week won a championship again, winning DreamHack, a tournament which they've now won 2 times. Obviously, Season 1 championships were held at DreamHack. Then they took down CLG for the title last week as well. And CLG were the title holders of DreamHack from the summer as well. Yeah,
I mean, that's a strong match to start with, WE versus Fnatic. And, Fnatic actually do have a bit of experience, because they went out to Korea, if you remember, in the OGN spring season it was, I believe, were out there. Didn't have a greatest of seasons, but they've had the experience. They've played them players.
Yeah.
Question is, how is Reckles going to do as the new AD carry? I've seen him hit and miss at tournaments. He came in to, it was the DreamHack Summers one we were at.
Yeah.
I think he was with Mibdi's Minions. It may have been. No, it wasn't. It was the Navi mix team. Didn't have that great a tournament, but clearly against CLG, they seem to have a very strong tournament. And the question is now, how is CLG EU going to do in this tournament? And a lot of people have got them highly rated, but the players themselves don't actually highly rate themselves, which is...
So everyone's saying CLG EU,
yeah, the players are like, no, we're not going to win it.
I'm surprised that they wrote that. Yeah.
Crippo's just being a realist, I think.
Down to earth.
Down to earth. So we'll see how they work out.
That's what you have when Scottish people are generally down to earth, and also Belgian people with Scottish accents
you calling
are pretty
Scottish?
much down to earth as well.
I did actually twig the Scottish accent he used last night. It was just like I didn't pull him up on it, but he was so clearly Scottish. Some of the stuff he was saying, I was like, "You've been around Snoopy a little bit too long." It's starting to rub off on him. But we need a little bit of English love around him, so we're going to have to induct him this weekend and keep him occupied.
Look at that, the vote just swinging there as we talked about the 3/4 thing. Obviously, people have seen that and all voting for Team Dynamic.
The Americans are waking up. They're like, no, we are not having this. We're going to get the American vote in. You can see it swinging back its way. Either that, there's a big Reddit poll running right now. It's like, everybody to vote for Team Dynamic. Get the app downloaded. But it is slowly but surely ticking up there. There's a lot of Team Dynamic, really. They're asking Azubu if they can say Gangnam Style when they're ready. They're not going to go for it, I don't think.
Just saying ready would probably be enough for this one. But we're actually ready here. We've been ready for quite a while, so we can kick off the game as soon as the players are in fact ready. And there we go. We're going to get into the bans and picks, which we've already seen. But hopefully they'll be quick about them today and not ban out what they've picked either. Yeah, so they're going to fly through. They're actually remembering the bans. This is important. They could have just gone straight down them, but they've actually done the exact bounce. It's good on them. Nice, isn't it? This is unusual. Look at it. It's still swinging. It's still swinging. I like this vote system. I'd love to see what's in front of the screens of the players as well. I'm sure there's a system in front of them as well. We can't actually see it when we're sat here. We don't get the luxury. It's just for you guys here. So if you are just tuning in, this is the second remake of Azubu Blaze versus Team Dynamic, and things will get underway. You can see the 50-second timer ticking down, so you can't see it on the screen. We can see it, so that's the pleasures we get of being here in these hot seats. One of these days I'm going to take a camera shot of you guys, because everybody always sees me, but nobody ever sees what I see. Actually, I can't really see anyone because of the spotlights. There's quite a lot of spotlights. There's fog. There's getting the smoke out there just to help out. Jack will be happy with that. That helps with his voice. Jack was actually saving his voice yesterday. We spent the whole day together, and he was just doing sign language and writing messages on his phone so that he could save his voice for today's stuff. So luckily, me and Demon don't really suffer that trouble. Actually, you do a little bit. I generally touch wood stuff here again. Touch metal. I generally don't lose my voice as well as. Don't Mash Me has in fact dropped out of the game again, so not sure. Apparently there were some rune problems with the first one, which is why that happened, and they told us to quit. Okay, so was Garen not in the game? No, I can see right down the end there. Garen wasn't in the game. We probably need the observer in the game. That would be handy this time around. Oh, Garen. So for Garen, for those unaware, Garen is like us, right? Like us. And Nat Nguyen's also back there, so they are the two camera guys for this event. So don't worry, you won't be missing First Blood. It's not me and Joe doing the camera. Guys. No pressure, guys. But we do have instant replay just in case we need it. But hopefully things will get underway shortly. So, Joe, let's talk about the rest of the tournament. There's a lot going on this tournament. There's a lot of teams. Who are your top three, do you reckon, for this event? Well, I tried to memorize all the groups, and then there's just too many good teams spread out everywhere, so luckily I've got a tablet here as well. Which is always a bonus. I had noticed you got Leaguepedia open right there. Yeah, it's a great thing. I should definitely be checking out Leaguepedia a bit more as well, by the way. Those guys doing a great job. So yeah, the second group, obviously you've got the two CLG teams in there. I'm still not sure how that group's all going to fold out. You've got Fear, who... along with Iceland, I mean, Fear, I think, are going to do well. Iceland, pretty much hard one to call because they have got some results on paper, but against the big teams, not against really any foreign teams either. And I think they're a bit of a wild card in this tournament. They did take a game off Taipei Assassins, but by all accounts, it was a bit of a throw. So it wasn't so much a taken. But, you know, you can only beat what's in front of you. And they did take that one game off the world champions. So... who knows? Who knows? CLG definitely going to obviously have an interesting because they all live in the same house. They're going to be playing each other. They've probably practiced against each other, so they all know each other's tactics. They know what each other are going to do. Well, I mean, everybody knows what CLG are going to do, don't they? You're going to grind it out for 70 minutes. You're going to farm it out and then finally get the win. And maybe see who can be the top strongest. And the funny thing is, because that's how CLG NA used to play. I mean, Hotshot GG used to just go on that top lane. It's like, is he going to join the team? No, he's just going to keep split pushing for another 50 minutes.
COG EU have definitely picked up that. Wicked's like, that's a really good tactic. I can do that, and just stays out there. And Froggen, you know, he's got a record to beat. He had 300 CS in 23 minutes, was it, at the Season 2 finals, I believe. You know, there's a chance he could go for that record. He might try it. It's going to be interesting to see how they work out. Of course, you've also got Moscow 5 Taipei Assassins in the same group, along with...
Yeah, that's insane.
Along with Curse in there. I mean, that's a tough group for Curse NA to be in there. Black Bean also in that team. Tough groups, but remember, people don't go out of those groups. The winner bracket will give you an advantage, granted, but you're going to get faced against another person that's done really well. So, you know, whoever comes out of that group, you're going to either have Moscow 5 or Taipei Assassins. Whoever's facing Group D, is it? I believe it is.
Group D is the M5 group.
Yeah, so whoever gets to face Group D, you're going to be like, well, Taipei Assassins are Moscow 5. I'm just saying they are probably going to be the winners. Sorry, Curse. That they are the likely winners of that group. Picks and bans are rifling through. Don't worry, guys. You're not going to stare at us for the rest of the day.
Thank God.
Things will eventually progress.
That won't be a nice thing to actually have. Well, you know, we started with doing radio commentary actually, so I guess we could do that. You could look at us all day and just not watch the game.
Yeah.
If you're up for it.
Just turn the screen off.
No.
No. Okay. People have probably muted us anyway, so.
I'd imagine so by now. You know, it's been 10 minutes.
It's only these poor souls here that have to listen to us. They don't. Well, actually, they could just get up and walk out.
I could go watch a bit of StarCraft.
They could go watch a bit of StarCraft. I think that's just about started up, so maybe StarCraft 2, of course, are going on in this tournament. Lots of big names in that event as well. Yep. So lots and lots of action. Of course, there is a second stream for League of Legends. It is WE versus Fnatic on that stream. That should be happening right now, as far as I'm aware. I think.
They're actually off to the side.
I think it's
here,
Baron and Hatperson that's doing that one, I believe. I'm trying to see who's down there. I can see Tom nodding like a dog. Still no sign of Studio, though, it seems. So Studio missing at the moment.
Oh.
Yeah, one of those days.
Actually, he doesn't have to castle later, so maybe
1 p.m. Yeah, he follows us.
He's
so
chilling.
So it's going to be Optimus, Tom, and Studio following us around about 1 p.m. today. Of course, we've got this game, Azubu Blaze versus Team Dynamic. It's going to be starting in 1 second, apparently. Let's see if anyone drops out this time.
If it actually
Following that,
stays
it's going to be
way.
Moscow 5 and Curse NA. Following that, it's going to be Team Solo Mid and Curse EU. So lots of big names, big games all throughout the day. And we do have, I think it's a 30-second delay on the stream, which is probably, I think, why we restarted, because I don't remember seeing that delay to start with.
That could be true. So here we go then once again. Azubu Blaze versus Team Dynamic. Our first game here on the main stage of IPL5 here in the lovely Las Vegas. Lee has been giving me a bit of a tour around Vegas.
Yes, I've been here a few times, so we've had a good look around all the casinos, the Cosmopolitan, obviously. This is a new one. I've never been in this one. This was not built last time I was here. It's huge.
Yeah.
61 floors this goes up. We're right up on the top.
We're on 59, which is a nice thing.
Not quite the top, yeah.
Not quite.
But high enough.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, you see
For
on
a man
Twitter,
who's scared of heights, it's actually higher than my fear of heights, so...
It's higher than your fear of heights.
I only have fear of medium heights, it seems, because I'm not scared when I look down the balcony.
You feel like you're on a plane coming into land.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not the same. So here we go then. We're going to go into this game. I'm hoping that there's no pause. I'm looking at the player screen, and it looks, Demon, like we really are going to kick off Azubu Blaze versus Team Dynamic.
Yeah, so here we go. The blue team is going to be Azubu Blaze, and Team Dynamic as the red team. Things are going to get underway. Question is, will we see any level 1 fights? Team Dynamic have a pretty strong level 1 team. Obviously, you got that Rupture from Cho'Gath, but also Azubu Blaze, they have a pretty strong team. So will we see an invade joke? Looking like they may well head for it. As we mentioned, there is a delay. They have those aircraft helmets on. Aircraft helmets? That would be funny. Aircraft headsets on. Nintendo's going to get caught out here. Helios is going to continue following through. They have been spotted. They're going to go straight through, but Helios has backed away. And looking like Team Dynamic really want to start a fight here. You can see Pick a Card's come out from Ambition. He wanted to get the stun straight out. Lustboy getting caught out with 1 single lay waste. But the rest of Team Dynamic just pretty much spreading out in a defensive format. We can see Azubu going towards the raids here. Takashi's going to try and catch them out there. Lustboy eating another lay waste. He's going to keep them at bay, but they're getting straight in just to get that 1 ward down.
Yeah, and a valuable ward as well to get that in early on, just to keep the path of that jungler under wraps. And obviously then gives you a bit of time maybe if you want to invade, knowing that he's not moved on to that side. But from the start that we're having here, looking like we will be seeing a pretty standard start from both teams, over by the Wraiths for Lee Sin and Wolves over for Cho'Gath on the other side as well. Question is, Demon, where are we going to be seeing this early action? Where are the lanes to watch?
Well, the lanes to watch, I mean, Jax versus Rengar is definitely going to be an interesting one in that top lane, how that's going to work out. Zion Spartan on Rengar. The fact that Rengar's not going to be the jungler means you can't have that crazy stealthiness getting those crazy ganks, but also they haven't used Orianna, which does surprise me, so they've used Karthus instead. So as I mentioned, Takashi has gone with really a champion that he's happy to farm on. So that mid lane, well, obviously, the fact that they've used Karthus, they're going to try and keep him so busy in the mid lane that Ambition's not going to be able to roam, because as soon as Ambition goes roaming, Takashi's going to put so much pressure on towards that mid turret. And we can see them starting to line up now, Nintendo picking up the blue buff, red buff going towards Lee Sin as well. So expect to see Helios maybe coming out for some early ganks there. You can see the top lanes are returning to lane. Nobody really going straight away. Immediately counter-strike on towards Zion Spartan and pouring a lot of damage down towards Zion Spartan there, forcing him back instantly. We've got to keep our eye on where Lee Sin goes. You can see he's on the blue buff right now. See whether he tracks off. Lee Sin, of course, one of those junglers that can go very early on the gank. Zion Spartan taking a lot of damage on that top lane, though. There's Helios picking up the blue. Keeping track of where the junglers are. You can see that Nintendo Dex is also in that top, so he's at the red at the moment, so may well both come visiting that top lane. There we go, you can see Lee Sin coming around. Remember, Zion Spartan already taken very low here. A double buffed Helios going straight towards that red buff. He might be able to catch Nintendo X out. Is he going to be catched? No, he's just about there in time. Puts to come straight across, puts the pressure down, and they're going to fight for these golems. The question is, you can see Jax also cutting across there. Zion Spartans are a little bit too low, doesn't want to get involved in this fight, so Helios is just going to continue causing problems on Nintendo Dex. Against once again gets back in there, lands the kick, goes straight back on. Nintendo Dex has got to be careful here. He tries to use the rupture, but Helios already dodging it. Zion Spartan just being kept so low he can't get involved in this one. And Azubu Flame already putting the pressure down. They're just continuing on, and they're going to have to back off from this one. Mid lane also, it's just a little bit of back and forth. Bot lane, standard stuff, and you can see the pressure already on that bottom lane just continuing to push forward. Meanwhile, at the top there, they're diving in. This is going to be first blood, and it's Helios that picks it up. We saw how low he'd gotten, and as soon as Nintendo Dex went back, Zion Spartan was in trouble. Don't Mash Me being taken very low in that bottom lane as well, Joe.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if they're going to push any. I mean, Lustboy level 2, Captain Jack level 3 currently, but they're doing great work across all the lanes here. Our Azubu Blaze managing to force every single lane back, and we see the Helios actually going in, going to be stealing away everything but that one single Wraith. The CS here in the middle, Twisted Fate having that early advantage by a 5 CS margin currently. But yeah, this top lane, you know, you saw Jax in there right from the very get-go actually. As they came into that lane, they were both hammering away on each other. Now Lustboy needs to be careful, he manages to dodge a rupture, and that will be enough to keep him safe for now. However, Captain Jack going fairly low. Will he be able to escape? Yep. To the safety now as Lee Sin is coming down as well. Will they get involved? I don't think so there with Captain Jack so low.
Yeah, he was forced to flash there. Does have heal available, so he's going to try and bait them. You can see that, as you mentioned, Helios is just tracking back in there, but the CS difference in that top lane, already 10 CS swing because of the fact that Rengar was just kept straight on that turret. So it's a dangerous, dangerous game, because once you start going 1-0 down, you can be in trouble. Eco in the middle lane, because he Ambitions have to flash out there. Avoid the rupture. Nintendo X couldn't quite get the silence down in time there. And Ambition continues on his merry farming way.
Yeah, oh, and here we go again. Jack's jumping in there on towards Rengar, and it's just little by little, and especially when he hits level 6, which he's going to do before Zion Spartan, then he's in a lot of trouble. I mean, he's going to obviously have that passive then from his ulti. A couple of hits, then jump in with Leap Strike, and hit him again with that extra damage. So dangerous times coming up here for Zion Spartan. Probably needs a bit more help, to be honest, from that jungler if he's not going to be getting caught out again. Actually, Cho'Gath is going down towards the bottom lane, but there was a ward there in River, which had spotted his position, and they're just trying to bait in there with Don't Mash Me being fairly low on Twitch. He will actually be headed away. So let's have a look at the CS once again, as we are going to get a bit of a lull at least down in this bottom lane. Don't Mash Me is a good chunk behind Corki already, 31-17. Middle lane is bang even, and this top lane again 38-20. And we all know, Demon, once this Jax basically gets that Trinity Force and then a Guardian Angel afterwards, that's his optimal build right there. He's in a great position, and now we could have a bit of trouble in this top lane for Rengar. There is a ward there in that Tribish, which should keep him safe.
Yeah, it means he's going to back off. We can see Ambition coming in. He's going to get the stun card down. He's just kiting off the turret damage there. Teleport coming in from Takashi. Is it going to be enough? Because Flame's going to get taken down very, very low. Can he avoid one more hit as Takashi? Because he's not got level 6. He's not level. He's desperately trying to kill the minions. He wants to get that level 6 so he can get his ultimate off quick enough. hasn't still got it. No, there he goes. He hit level 6. Presses R. He should. No, he gets him down. Azubu Flame goes down. And finally, that desperate farming session there from Takashi to get that kill. Helios. And that's a good, much-needed kill there. And Zion Spartan, that should turn him back. Didn't give him the assist. Oh, that's dangerous. Wanted the assist there, but Zion Spartans continue the pressure on towards Helios in that top lane, just forcing him completely back and can farm out the wave in between. Very good stuff. Good turnaround by Team Dynamic.
Yeah, really great turnaround there with that teleport coming in onto the top lane from Takeshi. And it looked like it could have been really bad for Rengar, but in the end, nicely saved. And that will bring us back to a 1-1 kill scoreline. 8,500 to 7,500 gold at the moment, as we see again Don't Mash Me taking a good chunk of damage, but Captain Jack also backing away. He doesn't want to be taking any damage whatsoever, as Takeshi here coming out to help out with Nintendo on this red buff.
Yeah, they're going to try and steal that red. You can see Helios coming in, has got vision now. He's going to get in there. It's going to be a smite fight. Who manages to win it out? It is going to be Nintendo X, and now Helios in all sorts of trouble, catches the Rupture as well, and another lay waste, and that's actually forcing him very, very low. You can see coming around the side there, Captain Jack caught out. Lustboy might get taken very low as well. A whole 4-man group up of Team Dynamic just gathering around. They are going to back off and not pick up, but they managed to steal away that red buff. Good advantage gain there. In terms of gold, though, you can still see 1k swing to Azubu Blaze, and still 1-1.
Yeah, still 1-1, and a lot of action going down here, which kind of suggests that this is going to be a very close game in the end. You can see now that Zion Spartan actually out-leveling Flame in this top lane after he went down to that Jack's ultimate early on. There was Helios again in his bottom lane. It's helping out there, but still that CS difference remains quite firmly, to be honest, in favour of Blaze. I mean, 50 to 33, 62 to 49, 51 to 42. Only the jungle slightly behind there in favour of Cho'Gath, and they're pushing this turret on the bottom lane very, very aggressively. That should be out in the next 2 or 3 waves, and I guess that we're going to have to see a bit of Cho'Gath in that bottom lane to stop that happening.
Yeah, Pixel remains to be low in that bottom lane. Again, another trade in the top, but that's the bottom lane where really the action should be happening. Flame forced to back away, but that bottom turret, like you mentioned, is very low. Don't Mash Me. Here goes Lustboy. He's just flashed on towards him. He's gone straight towards Pixel. Gets the Ignite down. Is it going to be enough? Yes, it will be. Lustboy picks up the kill there with an Ignite. Didn't even notice that actually the support had gone for that Ignite. So very aggressive play there from Lustboy. Flash igniting on towards the opposition support, and that's going to surely put a lot of pressure down. They've got a big wave. They've got the Siege Minion. They could take the turret down with that wave. Top lane there, you can see Zion Spartan again getting stunned out, and Flame trying to keep the damage back and forth, but it's still not quite enough.
Yeah, and if you look at the items in there, Rengar has actually got nothing right now, as we are going to see him coming towards Flame. There is the Ignite down as well. One more hit to finish him off. There is the kill as Helios comes in. He's got that red buff on, but the flash away from Zion Spartan will keep him safe, and that will leave us at 2-2.
Very close stuff, and a really good comeback by Zion Spartan. The fact that he was so heavily pushed early on, and he's managed to just get it back in there. Rengar turning things around. Zion Spartan on that top lane. Takashi also had his raids taken away a few times by Ambition there, but they can see they're both farming out their own raids at the moment. So Takashi keeping him back in it, and they mentioned the CS between the two. It is quite a big swing for Ambition at the moment. He's got about 10 CS difference, but they do have the kill on Takashi. Helios now coming in towards the mid lane. Is he going to go for anything? Lustboy's also lingering off at the side there, trying to get the wards down on towards Takashi, just forcing him back. They're going to keep the pressure on because they've taken that bottom turret already, and this is standard Azubu Blaze. As soon as that one turret goes, they rotate straight around, going towards the next target. They're trying to get through the stun card on towards Nintendo, not quite enough. And Azubu Blaze stacking up, going to put pressure on, and immediately Team Dynamic have had to react. You can see Don't Mash Me coming up here, but is it going to be enough to keep him off this turret, Joe?
I think it might be when they're coming in right now. Let's see how this one all kind of holds up. I mean, they've got great poke on that turret anyway, with the wild cards of Twisted Fate, with the rockets from Corki, and they are going to take that one down as the stun card will land onto Don't Mash Me. He's taken down to almost no health remaining, and that's again just showing that Azubu, with these extra items that they've got early on with that extra CS and the kills coming in, they are very, very powerful at what, 11-minute stage of the game.
Team Dynamic definitely forced back away from the turrets. The top turret will be the next target of focus. They're going to swing it round towards the Dragon, I suspect, here. Azubu realizing that they've forced Team Dynamic to back off or chomp through those health pots. And you can see Azubu Blaze starting to pushing their advantages. The gold advantage is starting to swing pretty heavily already. 3k gold. This is going to swing into a 4k. Can Nintendo get in there? There goes the teleport coming in. The Rupture comes through. Is it enough? Comes in, gets the smite down. Team Dynamic turning things around here. Ambition has been completely separated here. He's going off towards the top. He's the man they're targeting. They're going to get on towards him. Ambition goes down. Don't Mash Me picks him up. A beautiful, beautiful turnaround by Team Dynamic.
Yeah, it doesn't get much better than that, does it? Come in there, pick up the kill, take the dragon away as well. That was a great move from Team Dynamic. Now again up at this top lane, we actually have Flame. Let's have a look at his items. Doran's Blade, plus the Vamp Scepter and Longsword and the Ninja Tabi compared to Rengar's Heart of Gold and that Kindle Gem early on. But you can see Flame going toe-to-toe with him currently. He is a level behind, so that experience not working, not full level, as we've just seen him there go to level 9. However, Team Dynamic here pushing down this middle lane, but you've got to feel that Zion Spartan could have a bit of trouble. There is his W pop to give him that heal with the 5 points of Fury in there, and that is the middle turret taken down. So 2 for 1 in terms of turrets here. Takeshi actually getting quite deep in towards Captain Jack. We didn't have much mana, and in the top lane we are going to see them going head-to-head again.
Zion continuing to chase him as he backed off there. Azubu Flame wanted to get very aggressive, but couldn't quite go too deep. Zion Spartan doing a really good job of keeping him at bay there. He still kept that level advantage that he had early on. Has managed to try and recoup some of that CS. You can see it's just a 3 CS difference between the two. We did have Helios heading back there, so wisely Zion Spartan has backed off. So things starting to level out. 1k gold difference, big advantage. Team Dynamic really did a great thing picking up that dragon. He managed to get the goal back in there. They got a kill off the back of it as well. And they have done fantastic. Let's see how the items are balanced now. You can see Azubu, they want to stack up. They want to put pressure on. They knew that Helios was in that top lane. They're going to try and grind down on this turret, but immediately Nintendo is coming around. Zion Spartan's there. They're going to try and defend this one. Karthus is a long way off. Does have his ulti available. Actually, no. It's a good halfway off, actually. It's that Requiem, of course, with that huge cooldown now on it. Causes some problems. The pings go down. Nintendo caught by a ward, and they're backing off. Ambition wants to try and get the steal on the blue here.
Yeah, and in the jungles we are there seeing Helios just going in on towards Nintendo. That's a great thing. It'll keep him away from that blue buff if they can get in there. But we do see Karthus, Nunu, and Twitch coming around to try and stop that one from happening. And Ambition is going to get caught out here. We'll get this sun down on towards Don't Mash Me. And there is the portal away. Very nice.
Scumbag straight round there, but you can see Azubu now closing in on towards that blue buff. They can catch on towards Pixel. Pixel's going to have to flash through. Is it going to be enough? Is anyone going to follow through? No, the damage done though. Have they got enough to try and take away this blue buff? I don't think they do. You can see Nintendo coming around as well. And Azubu all very low on health. They do manage to put the ward down in the brush there, but Takeshi again goes back to try and pick up that blue buff. Rengar had moved down, so they realize it's still a 4v4, but Azubu just too low on health to contest this one, and Takeshi picks it up.
Yeah, nicely defending there by Dynamic. I mean, did have a couple of players going low, but low is not dead at the end of the day. So again, Zion Spartan has come back into lane with a giant spell added in there. Jack's now got that phage finished off. We'll see how those 2 item pickups actually impact on what's been a fairly active top lane here, as we do see that stun going down. Zion Spartan should have enough HP to get back, but from Flame's point of view, it's all about trying to force him away and stopping him catching up with that CS again.
The damage still starting to come from Azubu Flame here though. But you can see immediately he's had to try and get away because the Ignite goes down. Zion Spartan's going to switch on towards him and just force his Flame well away once again. I can see what he did with his name change there. The Flame worked very well with the Blaze team, but Flame just clearing out there. Ambition was getting a little bit close, and they managed to catch again onto Flame. Flame getting taken lower and lower. Ambition is starting to trek up towards his top lane, but you can see actually Pixel's now in there with that Blood Boil on towards Zion Spartan. They might do a lot of damage on towards this turret, and Flame's got to be very careful. They might be strong enough to dive it. Of course, the Karthus ultimate is now available, so Requiem could turn the tide of a fight. They're continuing the pressure in the mid lane while this happens, but the top lane is where it seems to be going on, Joe.
Yeah, certainly with Pixel.
Tell a lie, mid lane is where it's happening. You can see the ultimate coming out from Don't Mash Me, but he's just getting absolutely destroyed there. Captain Jack taking out very low. One more lay waste. Takeshi does have his ultimate available. Does he want to waste it? No, he doesn't. He flashes through. One more lay waste will do it. There it is. Takeshi now in trouble. He's got to get Nintendo defends him very nicely with that rupture, and Takeshi walks away with a kill on Captain Jack.
Yeah, really nicely played there. Obviously, they did lose Twitch for their pleasure, but that's going to put Karthus now 2-0-1 overall. Is a good amount of CS behind this Twisted Fate, though. in the middle lane. So we'll see how that starts to impact him almost up towards
top lane
Rod
again.
of Ages. Yeah, and top lane is going to be seeing some more action. This time Flame going to be trying to force Zion Spartan out of that lane. Actually, Zion Spartan, I think for the first time really in this game, has now taken the lead in the creep score there as well. Meanwhile, between the two AD carries, again, Corki having that lead.
Corki having that lead. Yeah, there's no shock there really against Twitch. He pretty much had that lane well under control, and in terms of the mid lane, Ambition very much farming out Takashi, but Takashi has those 2 kills. So if you look across the gold, you can see that it's actually pretty much, well, actually tell a lie, he's still, despite the fact he is still leading with that gold, because 50 CS is a big, big difference. There's the most satisfying noise in the game. It is Flame beating the hell out of a turret with Jax. And there goes the turret. Meanwhile in the mid, they're starting to gather around. Takashi coming in there, and Lee Sin was thinking of getting involved. Helios kind of gone out of position. Ambition coming around to sort him out there. But Zion Spartan following Flame all the way down the river and keeping them at bay. But while this all happens, guess who's farming down that bot lane? Captain Jack.
Yep, farming his way to victories. We are going to see Helios getting a little bit caught out there. We'll just dash over towards Lust Boy, and that will be safe. But with this Dragon up now, with an Oracle on Nintendo as well, they're going to be clearing out these wards, making sure that they've got the best vision possible to start things off. Actually, Don't Mash Me is going to pull Dragon out, and it looks like Team Dynamic going to be committed to starting off this Dragon, already down to below half HP. Here we go. It's going to be taken by Cho'Gath. Lust Boy going low. There's the Nunu ultimate as well. But there's a lot of damage coming in. There is the Lulu ultimate. Takashi is going to die. Nintendo manages to walk away. Look at Helios. But here comes the Karthus ultimate as well. Is he going to pick up a kill? Yes, onto Lee Sin. And that will be a 1 for 3 currently, and they're chasing down even further. Pixel going very, very low. Just one more rocket. There is Twisted Fate with the double kill. Can they get any more? And, well, that's the beauty of the Twitch in that situation. Go stealth and try and get away.
That sneaky rat does get away there, but Azubu coming out on top in that fight. They didn't manage to get the Dragon, though. So the gold swing now, it's a 3k difference to Azubu Blaze, and they're also going to push the towers. It's what they do. What they do best. You can see Lustboy actually continuing to push the mid turret, keeping that creep wave going. So Lustboy picking up as much CS as he can. It's something that you do see the green teams do, but meanwhile that bottom turret is going to get hammered down with Flame and Captain Jack there and Ambition. There's going to be so much damage down. There's nothing that Team Dynamic can do to defend it. And there is the 4th tower of the game for Azubu Blaze. 7-5 in kills. Advantage Azubu.
Yeah, and there's the way you question, is it worth having a Dragon like that? Yeah, you take the Dragon, but you lose the 4 kills afterwards. For me, not particularly worth it. But we'll see how that affects Team Dynamic going forward in this one. 4-1 in turrets. The CS is across the board in the favour, actually, of Azubu Blaze as well. We do have, you can see the gold totals themselves. 1,000 gold extra for Twisted Fate in the middle. I've got 600 in the jungle, 500 in the top lane, and over 1,000 as well in this bottom lane.
Stacking up pretty big. That's this top lane. I'm not sure how... Zion Spartan's definitely starting to come back into this one. He did well against Jax, did really well against Flame actually, considering he was so far behind to start with. Got the help out with his jungler. Bottom lane continuing to be pushed. Takashi and Pixel with a blood boil on Karthus there, trying to take down that turret. They're actually doing a lot of damage. Captain Jack, though, as soon as he appears, they can clear that quick wave out. It does manage to get a lot of damage down. So, coming up to the 20-minute mark, Joe, very much a slower-paced opening game. As you'd expect, it's always the dangerous game to start with that first game. Nobody wants to lose the first game. Team Dynamic definitely caught out as shaky as Azubu Blaze here.
Yeah, and I think especially with this group format that we've got, that it's not just a traditional round-robin, that every game really does matter. And, well, you could be finished if you win 2 in a row, then you're done for the group stage. So that's what every team is looking for this one. Dynamic here having to defend this middle lane once again. And as we said before, the Oracles were up. Let's have a look at Cho'Gath, see if he actually bought one back. I don't think that he did, to be honest. Maybe it's actually on Nunu even at this stage. But Lulu obviously does have that Oracle still alive here for Azubu Blaze. There we go. We are going to see the Twisted Fate ultimate coming in on towards Takeshi. Then Lee Sin is in there as well. And this is going to be an easy kill. Absolutely destroyed.
Absolutely destroyed. Caught him out of position. And that's the danger with Ambition on Twisted Fate. Once you get just a little bit too far up the lane, he can easily come in, get that stun card down. The rest of the team was close enough to react, and immediately it puts pressure on towards that middle turret. And that's what Azubu is all about, taking them turrets down, You know, some of the European teams, the American teams, they like to just stall it out a little bit longer to get that far, but Azubu are all about ripping those turrets up, and there goes another. It's 5-1 in turrets now, 8-5 in kills, and really that's where the big gold swing is. It's a lot of all about those turrets going down. They're going to rotate straight towards that top wave. You can see massive creep stack coming in there. Nintendo trying his best to keep them away, but the rest of the team are not reacting quick enough to this one. And that turret's going to take a hell of a lot of damage before Team Dynamic can even get close to defending it. They're not even going to get there. They're not even going to get it within range. And Azubu may even catch them out as they pass by. And there is Flame on towards that turret. Now they finally come up and defend this one. They need to be careful they don't get caught out. They're only a 3v5 currently. That is less than ideal. And Captain Jack just gets another couple of shots on towards that turret, taking it down to 1,500 hit points already.
Yeah, slowly but surely working their way through that turret. We'll see with this next wave where they manage to totally push that one down. Wouldn't surprise me to see even Team Dynamic give this one up if you know, that poke damage coming in from Corki and Twisted Fate come behind, but they are going to dive in. Flame actually getting caught out here. Will lead strike away, but look at the damage coming down on towards Team Dynamic. They get into a fight and they have to back away because they quite simply don't have the health or the damage even to trade back. As Twisted Fate going to pop his ultimate. Is he going to go in anywhere? No, he's in that middle lane. We'll just push that one out. So they've managed to hold on to this one. Team Dynamic, but now Azubu going to go back and going to be buying. And there is the Trinity Force finished on Jax. There is Trinity Force finished obviously on Corki as well. So dangerous times now incoming for Team Dynamic. Yeah, big damage spike there. But did you see who was the frontline tank there for Azubu? It was Lustboy. Lustboy the support with an Oracle on. He was quite happily glitter-lancing away at that front line. Just like, hit me, I don't mind, I can get out of this one. He got Flash available and was just trying to see if he could get anyone low enough to get that Ignite down. Obviously the heal, of course, coming out from Captain Jack if required. As it is in the top lane, it's Lion Spartan sitting there, hanging, waiting. He's got that Sunfire Cape completed now, and he's tracking Flame. And you can see now he's got the rest of his team. Nintendo Dex might work out, yes. Pixel with that Oracle just spotted the ward, so Azubu are reacting to this one. And Flame realised the danger. The rest of Azubu were starting to track up. So Ambition a long, long way away at the moment. So they could maybe try and catch someone out here. Flame's pushing around. They want to try and have a little bit of a fight, a little tit for tat in this jungle, but nobody showing themselves to get picked off. While it is happening, the split push continuing down that bottom lane. Ambition now with that brilliant spot on as well. A lot of AP, 279 AP I think total. Stacking it up very nicely and just continuing to put the pressure on all of the lanes. Yep, going Abyssal, and that Zhonya's Hourglass here is Twisted Fate. And that's the beauty of him as well, you know, with that ultimate when that's up, which, yeah, it actually is right now. His ultimate is available, so he can just do this all day, and he's going to force Karthus to back away. And the reason they bring Karthus back away is that he obviously has teleport, so he can do the same thing, get back into the action if needed. This dragon is going to be an absolute freebie for Azubu. That will put them up to above 5,000 gold now in the lead. And you see the ward difference area. Azubu really got that locked off in terms of the vision. Absolutely, driving through the mid lane. Here comes Azubu once again. No attempts, no thought about the Baron so far. Really waiting to see if they can get any picks out. Team Dynamic going to try and react to this one. Here comes Ambition though. Keeps an eye on where he goes. He's just creeping up the side. And Azubu disengaged very quickly there, as did Team Dynamic. Throws out those wildcards. Not really getting enough poke damage here, I feel, Azubu. Dynamic wanted to try and catch onto them. Didn't really manage to pick anything out though. Infinity Edge though picked up by Don't Mash with Zion Spartan caught out by Ambition off the side there, and again the Q landing from Helios. Didn't choose to follow up on that one though, but the rest of the team had managed to poke him down. That's took him down to half health. Azubu though cannot push onto this turret. They have not got enough to just try and tower dive at the moment. They're going to go back and clear those waves out, and again you can see they're just going to go back through the jungle, clear out all of the objectives and take away more gold from Team Dynamic. Yeah, every little bit counts in a game which still is not over. I mean, 8-5 is a 5,000 gold lead. This turret difference is what's really hurting Team Dynamic now. They've lost obviously a lot of vision over the entire map. He's trying to get on Lustboy there, sorry, on the bottom lane. Tried to come around, Don't Mash Me, threw out his slow, just missed it, because as you know, the Korean supports they tend to do this. You can see he's picking up the CS in that bottom lane. He's keeping it pushed. He's got 44 CS to 9 now. And obviously with those double GP10s in place, that's going to really give him that gold advantage over his opposite number, as we are seeing the Zonya's Hourglass now finished on Twisted Fate. Yeah, there you go, 6,000 to 4,800, let's call it. Close enough for that one. So there's the difference for Lulu. Also has a kill and 5 assists, don't forget. And with the money from those dragons, from the towers as well, really helping out on that front. Red buff here just been given over to Don't Mash Me. And obviously that Oracle on Nunu now is going to be helping out because they had lost a lot of vision in their top side of the jungle, obviously on the Baron side of things. Now they've kind of swung that around, but I'm guessing that Azubu going to do exactly the same thing. Come back into this one, clear out as much as they can, get their wards into position. But I don't think that either team is necessarily confident with Baron at this stage.
No, absolutely not. Azubu continuing to try and keep those creep waves, try and keep them pushing. You can see the Ambition still hovering around that top lane. Realize that Zion Spartan's there, just passes through the ward. So that means Azubu as a 4-man stack going to drive through this mid lane, realizing that their top lane is not there. There's a lot of damage taken away with Zion Spartan not being close to that. And they are going to dive in for this one. They're going straight towards Takashi. Very, very deep there. It's Pixel that's going to get dropped. He's got an Oracle. That's an Oracle down. Helios, though, in all sorts of trouble. He's taken very low. You can see the poison damage from Twitch, sorry. May well finish him off. There's the Karthus ultimate. Is not going to be enough. They managed to pop the heal, and now Zion Spine in all sorts of trouble. Is he going to be able to back away from this one? You can see Nintendo Redux tried to dive in, tried to get the silence on towards Captain Jack. Captain Jack taken so low, the Glitter Lance lands it. Nintendo in all sorts of trouble. He gets dropped by Helios, and Azubu managed to pick up 4 for nothing there. And now Team Dynamic in desperate trouble trying to defend this turret. Don't Mash Me in all sorts of danger. He does not want to get too deep. There's the Q just flashing past his face, and that is going to be the first inhibitor turret down, followed, I think, by the inhibitor. Have they got enough to take it down?
Oh, they went ridiculously low. It's actually Captain Jack has to use his Valkyrie to get away there. Twitch chasing him down. Didn't want to be losing those double buffs. But again, as you said, 4 for 0 that exchange. They've taken down this inhibitor turret.
No,
Will they finish off? Oh, they've had the inhibitor itself now as well. But Helios actually going to dash out, but can he get away from him? Looks like he's just going to try and get Lust Boy out of the way of things. However, Nunu doing a great job here of sticking onto him. Ambition will throw the stun card down. That should be safe. On this bottom lane. Meanwhile, Flame here will be able to push this top out and maybe even be able to take himself a turret. Nintendo X is the only one in any kind of position to say anything about this top lane. And Ajax, well, we know how fast he can hammer those turrets down.
Yeah, he's just piling up the pressure on towards that top lane. Super creep wave coming through on the bottom wave. Now, Zion Spartan's going to get a lot of farm on that top lane, though, now that they've backed off. And can Team Dynamic try and react to this one? That team fight did not go well for them at all. They just tried to force the issue, force the fight. Azubu Blaze were ready for it. That's the problem. And it's actually Flame. They put a lot of damage on Flame, and he just leap strikes away. Then they put a lot of damage on Helios. He can just safeguard away. So it's really hard, slippery targets to try and pin down. Captain Jack can just Valkyrie away like he did against Don't Mash Me there. So they're really having problems trying to focus on a single target that they can pin down, lacking really the stun. And no crowd control, really, other than the Rupture that's maybe going to come through there and maybe a couple of slows, but no real strong stun. And Azubu realizing they're still on top of a ward there. Lost Boy will clear that one out. And everybody will back away. So it's looking like maybe a bit of a Baron dance here, but Flame pushed that bottom lane, sorry. Now you've got super creeps coming in there on that bottom lane. They're going to eventually need dealing with by Team Dynamics. So you can see they're clearing out the middle wave. They're well aware of the fact there could be a Baron opportunity coming out here, and Azubu is starting one out. Yeah, they're starting off this Baron now. They know that they've taken all that vision away from Team Dynamic, and with Twisted Fate in this top lane, I wonder if Dynamic even fully realise that one is going to be going down there. Jack coming currently up the middle lane. Twisted Fate will help with some wildcard, but you need to be careful with a Cho'Gath around. Are they going to be able to stop this one? He was actually stunned out there, and that was pretty much the entire chance of Nintendo X coming in to do anything with Smite or with his Nom to try and steal away that Baron. So going over to Azubu Blaze, and they, from this point, Demon, they'll be looking to drive it home. They will be looking to drive it home. 12-6 gold advantage, very much in favour. You can see it's, where's it up to now? And there he goes, 10k gold difference swing for Azubu. Guardian Angels and Trinity Force, pretty much the complete build that you need on Jax, so he's going to be happy. He's going to be now just quite willing to dive in, do the damage. This could be the end fight here. In fact, if they get caught out a little too deep, Team Dynamic back away. Already, the two carries taken down to half health. They're going to have to back away from this. Flame just beating the heck out of that mid turret. Top turret now going down as well. Taken very low. Nintendo getting aggressive. Teleport coming in there from Takashi from the fountain. That just shows, and there is Flame single-handedly taking down that mid turret. Those wildcards from Ambition. You can see Spartan's going to dive it towards Ambition. He does manage to take him down, but immediately Flame responds, gets the counter-strike across the whole team. Takashi uses the Zhonya's. Is it going to be enough? Keeps himself in a really good position. It's a good couple of kills for them, but Flame and Blaze are too strong. Blaze picking up another one. Is the Flame's Guardian Angel will get popped here, but it doesn't matter. He's just going to pop back up. He might be able to get Nintendo if he times it very well. No, just manages to get over it. Now the tower's going to go down, and Azubu really turning on the heat here.
Yeah, great play by Flame there just to hold out as long as he possibly can. Let that tower go down, and now they are in the base still with 4. This is the third and final inhibitor going to go down as they turn around, actually putting some good damage down onto Nintendo. There is the Glitterlance going to slow him down. Valkyrie in from Corki, and there is the kill. They actually got the stun down onto Zion Spartan as well, and they may just follow straight through for the kill with Helios, who will take down Zion Spartan. Needs to get away though from that slow of Nunu, but the first Nexus turret is going to fall. The second one will follow straight after. There's a heal actually being used by Captain Jack. Now only the Nexus itself. Pixel taking a lot of damage. No Mashmi is in there, and basically they are all going to be falling here before Azubu Blaze actually finish off the game. There is Takeshi taken down. They're beating on the Nexus, and Azubu Blaze is going to take down Team Dynamic here for the first game at IPL5.
So fantastic performance, but Team